What's up? What's happening?
And welcome back to another episode of DMT Reviews. I'm Sam Butler. Sitting across from me is Jack Anderson, along with special guest Karl Breidenbach.
What's going on?
Yo. And guess what we're reviewing today? That's right, the fucking Snyder Cut, baby.
Just
on.
kidding. It's the opposite of.
Yes.
Why'd you fart immediately? If it is the opposite.
Yeah.
Just to throw the audience's expectations, you know.
I'm not amused.
Oh, okay. So it was amazing.
It was so much better in so many in every way.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yeah, there wasn't a change that was made
Nope.
that should not have been made.
Right.
Top to bottom, just a completely different movie, frankly.
Yeah. No part of it where we're just like, oh, I wish they kept that in.
Right.
No.
Right.
Not at all.
And the running joke leading up to it is, 4 hours. What's Zack Snyder doing, right? You know what? There wasn't an ounce of fat on that movie. I'm going to be fully honest with you.
It just should have been a serialized
That's what I'm
story.
Yeah, they could have definitely broken up some of those parts and released it as like a limited series if they wanted to.
If they wanted to, right. And that was the whole thing about this, was that fucking Cyborg and Flash were like the linchpin saviors. They were the MVPs of the Justice League, and they got sidelined in Justice League. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like Joss Whedon pretty much was like, if it's not trending, then it's not part of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like Cyborg, like that guy Ray Fisher that plays him, this was his first like big role.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy's not a known actor. We didn't really see much of Flash and Ezra Miller. You know, everyone knows Jason Momoa. Everyone knows fucking Gal Gadot. So that's what Joss Whedon.
Nobody knows Ben Affleck.
Nobody knows Ben
He's
Affleck.
this up and comer.
He's actually from Boston. I don't
Really? Wow.
He wrote Alone.
I bet
Good
he
Will
drinks
Hunting.
Dunkin' Donuts every morning.
Yeah.
He just has to have his Dunkin' coffee, man. And that's true.
I appreciate
Rich ass Ben Affleck still drinking piece of shit Dunkin' coffee.
I would, you know. I mean, gotta get you Dunkin', you know. Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, if you're from Boston, you gotta.
I don't know. I thought it was cool because there were actually storylines. There was character development. There was relationships between the characters. It's incredible to see, and how easy it is to see the Joss Whedon moments in the original version. I gotta stop calling it the original version because it's really not.
Let's refer to it as the Justice League.
Justice League.
From
Yes.
here on
Fucking
out.
yeah, Ray Fisher only really has been in True Detective playing Mahershala Ali's son.
Oh, that's right.
That's literally like it.
And that was post Justice League. So yeah, that was something that came by consequence of this.
Right.
Which good for him because seriously, I mean, he was amazing.
He deserves some shine. He put in a really excellent performance.
Well,
Brought
it's
a
the
lot to
most
that character.
emotional center of gravity in the whole fucking thing. Because, like, what Joss did with Bruce Wayne was turn him into Tony Stark, basically. And so in this, it was just like he was just sort of racked with guilt, and it just showed. And with that whole talk with Alfred, that he was just like, you're letting your guilt consume you. You're not thinking with reason anymore, you know? And it's like, that's a lot more compelling than how the other one played out, where it's just like, so I guess he's in love with Superman now? Like, he just beat the shit out of the guy, watched him die, and he's just like, he's my favorite person.
He's my favorite. We gotta save him. We have to.
What?
Well, and like
He's
so,
like 1%.
yeah, right.
We're not even playing percentage anymore. I love him.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like he. Okay. So one of the moments we watched the Lasso of Truth scene after this to show just the awful Joss Whedon humor that was just shoved into the Justice League.
Goddamn dumb, dude.
And I noticed something was at the beginning of that scene when they hop onto the plane, it just cuts out that entire sequence where Alfred talks to Bruce, and Bruce is like, it's faith. I really enjoyed how he went from being this logical, reasonable guy to I'm just gonna have faith. Shit is crazy. Aliens are here.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
I'm just a human.
Yeah, and that's like a great scene that Ben Affleck really kills in the Snyder Cut. And you watch the Lasso scene; they cut that entire thing. They just get on the plane
just for a
and go.
2-minute long joke.
That joke.
Really bad joke.
Yeah, I mean, you kept talking about how just all the actors and actresses in that scene were just like,
Yeah, you could see them because the way it was shot was really fucking weird with how it just isolated Aquaman in that one shot and then it showed the group on the other shot. And then that wide shot of the entire group, they're just all standing there and you can tell behind their eyes that they're just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Why?
We already shot this scene and it was a lot better.
And here's the thing with Aquaman, that scene really showed me how great he is in the Snyder Cut because he has relationships with people. In the lasso scene, Wonder Woman is just a hot chick to him.
Yeah.
In the Snyder Cut, it's this dynamic between the Amazonians and the Atlanteans and this really interesting kind of history behind it
Right.
that plays into the movie with Flash. He's kind of like, Flash is like probably the closest to him personality-wise, so they kind of connect. In the lasso scene, he just treats him like a dumb kid. He's like, if you tell anybody about this, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Cyborg. He sees Cyborg as a young kid who sacrificed everything, and he like feels for him. He says it in the movie, and it's like a kind of emotional moment. In that, he just basically sees him as just a guy that's there, like he is in the entire fucking movie. It undercut everything. That movie that the Snyder Cut really built.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it was just like the stuff that stayed was like moved around, like that whole fight to get the prisoners out, like Cyborg's dad and all that. They just mashed that into the end sequence, in the other one. And it's just like, it looks like a stack. Let's just keep it the same place. No, dude, this plays out so much better.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like the start of part 4, the Justice, like 2 hours before Batman shows up.
Exactly. It's almost like he took the middle of the movie and put it at the end and just made the whole, because the movie's split into 6 parts plus an epilogue. He took the first 2 parts and made that the whole movie, and then took the middle sequence and the end sequence and put them together.
Mashed them together.
That's exactly what he did. Yeah.
He's got nothing with Cyborg because he's
At
got
all.
like we said, he's got just a huge like a huge backstory. It's like a true origin story for Cyborg in this movie.
Absolutely.
It showed exactly what happened to him, where he was at before the accident, and why he's like so resentful of his dad afterwards. And I mean, like the whole thing where with him going to the cemetery, it's like they gave him a headstone and a burial spot, so it's like he's dead in the world. He has no place to belong. Instead of being this like hunchback of Notre Dame, fucking brooding asshole that Joss turned him into.
Yeah,
because that was one story that I heard. The only part of the movie, the theatrical cut that Zack Snyder saw, was when he stopped by the studio and he walked into the editing bay really quick and he saw them editing that scene. And in that scene in the Snyder Cut, Cyborg flies in and talks to Wonder Woman. In the Joss Whedon version, he comes out of the shadows with the hood and he's all like super creepy and dark and all that shit. And he just looked at it and he's like, why would he do that? And then walked out. That's all that he saw. He's like, why would he do that? He just missed the mark on everything. Special effects too. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Everything looks so much
Granted,
better.
they did spend like $70 million or something like that on the special effects.
Money well spent.
Money well spent.
Money well spent.
Very
Henry
much.
Cavill's lip isn't fucked up anymore.
Looks great. Steppenwolf doesn't look awful, and he is a great character.
Yeah,
in this.
he's
Oh my God.
actually a character. Like you said, he has an arc now.
Yeah.
He's like this disgraced general, and like that was part of our favorite parts was how much disdain, what was his name, Desaad, the hooded guy, and Darkseid had for him. Just like, oh, Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Like, you moron can't do anything.
He's
frankly.
basically the Jar Jar Binks of Apocalypse.
Literally,
Yes.
everyone is
Everyone's
against
just like,
him.
oh, fucking Steppenwolf. It's like,
and they're just like, hey guys, you know what'd be funny? We set a quota of 50,000 worlds. Steppenwolf needs to deliver until we bring it back in.
He
He's
goes
not
to
even
the
getting
first
close.
one and gets
the first
beaten.
world, 1 of 50,000. He just fails. It's like,
and Desaad going like, I told you he'd fail.
Yep. Oh, this fucking
yeah, he
guy.
gets decapitated and
Sent back
steps on
to-
his head.
Yep.
And he's like, man, I told you, this guy.
So
Yeah,
much
fuck this guy.
disrespect.
Oh my god.
So
It's like the
funny.
equivalent of if like Thanos sent the Collector to Earth.
Right, exactly. He's just like, oh.
They're just like, oh god. I mean, sure, he did fuck up a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, he was great too. Like the action was so much better. His, just overall arc. That's the
It
thing.
was an acquired taste. You had to get used to the slow mo.
Right. Oh yeah, that took a minute, and there was some musical cues that we weren't huge fans of. But oh my god,
Every time Wonder Woman did anything, slow mo.
I don't know. It's just interesting because I cared about everyone in the movie, minus Lois Lane. She didn't do anything, but
She did do something.
she went to the statue.
She turned into Martian Manhunter.
Oh, that was
It's true.
Martha.
Oh, that was Martha.
Yeah,
My
but-
bad.
but-
okay, Lois Lane talked to Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
This
it's
true.
was-
Well,
That
and
is
that's
true.
so funny because, like, So yeah, that was the whole thing. They reveal that Martian Manhunter was in it, and that he was also the general from Man of Steel. And it's like, well, they had a relationship. Why do you have to turn into Martha?
You said that the fans predicted that, right?
Yeah,
Do you think that might be something he went back and did?
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's because we don't really know.
That was very
I think-
inconsequential part of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he might have confirmed it himself beforehand. Like, this is
Oh,
what I
really?
was gonna do. This guy was gonna be Martian Manhunter. I don't know.
I'm
Well,
not mad about it.
Not at all, because
No.
here's another thing, and I think this
Well,
is
it blew all of our fucking minds.
and I think this is the first time I could say this about these DC movies. They have a direction. Like, I think I know where they're
Yes.
going
Yeah.
with this, and I'm pretty stoked.
Oh,
like,
he set up so
Mhm.
many different
Well,
you know
yeah.
directions.
It makes
and-
you think about it because, like, you know, we had Kevin Feige, at least with Marvel, overseeing everything.
Right.
One thing there's no specific Warner Brothers executive to be mad at. We're
Yeah.
mad at an entity right now. I don't know who's in charge, who's the producers on all this stuff,
but someone's doing it
but
wrong.
someone's doing it. And the thing is, like, they're just like not, you know, hip to the fact that someone has a vision of an arc playing out over extended universe. And so they're just like, well, Marvel does this. No,
Yeah.
we're not Marvel. And
Yeah.
Zack Snyder had a very clear vision, it seemed like.
Well, and that's the thing too to say with
And,
DC and
and the
Marvel.
movies that didn't have clear stuff in it, like Shazam. I liked Shazam, but it didn't
Oh,
have
yeah, Shazam
anything.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Birds of Prey. That was another one where it's just like, what the fuck were they thinking with
Yeah.
this one? Where did they think anything was going?
I thought Birds of Prey was fine.
It was
I liked
fun.
it as like a Harley Quinn kind of.
It should have just been called Harley Quinn, the movie.
Yeah, they should have just called it that because Birds of Prey was like what the last
The last 20
10
minutes.
like, I don't even think 20 minutes, maybe
Right.
like 10 seconds. So like we call ourselves the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
those
It's like,
characters
okay,
served to distract more than anything. Yeah, I totally agree. That just should have been our movie.
Yeah.
But again, I think they're figuring it out. That's something like between Marvel and DC. When did DC start making these movies? Like 2013, right after Avengers made a ton of money. So they were like, "Oh, okay, let's start doing something like that." But Marvel had been doing it for 4 years before that and laying
Yeah.
all the groundwork. They were just like, "We need to get to Justice League as quickly as we can." And Zack Snyder was like, "I guess I got a way to do it."
What was the order the original movies came out? Because it was Batman versus Superman. That was first.
No,
Man of
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Batman
okay, Man of
versus
Steel.
Superman, Wonder Woman.
Justice League,
No, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, right?
Suicide Squad was after Batman versus Superman, then Wonder Woman, then Justice League, then Aquaman,
Mhm.
and then Birds of Prey, I guess.
And Wonder Woman 84.
And Shazam, yeah.
Woman 84.
84. Let's go. Oh my God, she is so obsessed with Steve Trevor.
Oh,
It's-
that's the
problem.
problem. It is a problem.
she's got hang up issues.
But
for
this
sure.
dude who's been dead once for 60 years and then again for another 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
It still weighs heavy on her.
Yeah, and he wasn't even dead in 80, or he was dead in 84. He wasn't even back. You know, his essence was. I'll give it that. But again, okay,
Just have him come back. Don't put him in another guy's body and implicate unconscious rape, you
and
know?
my thing is like, this is supposed to be a stone. You can wish for anything, right? And she wishes him back. You're like, oh, so there are limits to what this rock can do or whatever. Nope, they built an entire wall around Egypt like that. You know what I mean? That stone can do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get worked up about this.
that movie was just.
I love-
It's kind of chaos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just nowhere to go with
Right.
it, you know?
Fucking, so this says that Zack Snyder had been teasing Martian Manhunter since 2019 when he shared on the obscure social network Vero, whatever the fuck that is. It says obscure. He said he showed old storyboards. One of them was that Martian Manhunter scene with Lois and Martha.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he'd been talking about it freely. He's just like, yeah, I would have done that
It makes sense.
if they let me.
I think about the Justice League I knew when I was a kid from the cartoons. It was all the ones that are in this, plus Martian Manhunter, and I think
Green
isn't there
Lantern.
Green Lantern. That's right. And then
and
wasn't-
Hawkman. with
Yeah.
the Mace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are the Justice League I know. So that it's cool. It's exciting. They're moving into a cool place.
Isn't that the Cartoon Network show?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the 2000s.
Yep.
So good.
Oh, I love that. I loved it. I always notice too when Batman's around the Justice League, he gets weird, you know, because he definitely knows he's not supposed to be. There.
Well, yeah, yeah, because Carl put me onto the fact that those animated movies that have been coming out are all just part of a connected universe. You know, the
Right.
animated universe, or the animated movie universe, the DCAMU, DeCamu.
DeCamu.
The DeCamu.
Oh, I know all about Camu.
The DeCamu. But every time the Justice League is up against something, Batman has to like get out of the way a lot and think. It's usually him using his brain and just being like, you use your powers over there. You use them over there. Like he's
a genius. In those. And that's his power. Is that he's the smartest among them.
Right.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
He's not the one actually like kicking all the ass or anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
because obviously he's just a person.
yeah.
Right.
He's smart enough to be like, hey, you know, I'm not built for this shit.
Right.
You guys are.
And he's truly at the best when that's what he is. What is it? Where the Justice League fights the Legion of Doom, and they have that like really old guy who's been there for thousands of years.
Yeah,
that's a New Frontier.
No, I think it was called just Doom because it had Vandal Savage in it.
That's who I'm talking about. And they had the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
Batman had
all
come
the
up with ways to
contingency
neutralize all of the members of the Justice League.
Yeah,
And
like shoot Superman with a kryptonite bullet. I can't remember what Wonder Woman's was.
Wonder Woman's was like it was like hitting her with a dart or something.
Something like
that made her see Cheetah everywhere.
Yeah,
And she was going to keep fighting until she basically died.
yeah, and anything she saw, and then
Going back to Wonder Woman
Flash.
84, what a waste of Cheetah. Anyway,
yeah, Flash. They put a bomb on him, like the movie Speed, where if he just stopped running, he'd blow up.
Exactly like the movie Speed.
Yeah, exactly that.
I saw Always Be My Maybe, and I love when he's like, less than a residual check for my hit movie Speed.
From my Keanu
Keanu.
was so good in that shit. But yeah, no. So Batman had all these contingency plans for the Justice League if any of them got out of hand, and Vandal Savage hacked into it, and the Legion of Doom all just picked their guys.
Oh,
I can't remember what Green Lantern's was. It was like take away his will, I guess, because that's where he gets his power.
Well, it was like it was a Batman did some sort of psychological screen, and it was making some Green Lantern had been directly responsible for someone's death.
Yeah, and it was reminding him of it.
Yeah, and it was reminding him of it, and just caused him to break down over that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I mean, Batman's just the mega genius, but also let that one slip pretty bad.
Well, who knows, man? I mean, that might be the path we're going down now. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, it seems like they're setting up either in Justice League or Legion of Doom. Or at least that's the way that end scene was dovetailing. It was going to lead into the Ben Affleck Batman because Deathstroke was going to be the main villain of that movie, you know? And so it's either they're setting up that or, this whole nightmare sequence they had at the end. It's like Injustice because Joker killed Lois in that, and that's what sent Superman to be deranged and become the fucking dictator of the world and kill everybody and doesn't give a shit.
right.
And it's essentially their civil war,
Makes sense.
And I don't know. It seems like he's amalgamizing because he did that with Batman versus Superman, where it was Dark Knight Returns mixed with Doomsday, and then this one it seemed like it was Justice League War. Was that the first one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Justice League War.
Yeah.
That was
where they set, it shows all the origins of the people, and then they come together and they fight. Not Darkseid like the cartoon movie did, but it showed that, and then it seems like it's leading up to Darkseid War. So it seems like they might mix Injustice and Darkseid War,
Interesting.
which would be fucking crazy.
Yeah. That.
they're still keeping flavors of the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
I mean, everything about it is. I mean,
well, they
the
literally
tank at the end.
Yeah,
was literally the tank from that. Like,
and we both geeked.
yeah, that was true.
It was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this movie felt to me like a satisfying movie for Cyborg, for an origin for Flash, kind of, and then to get the Justice League moving. And now we can go forward and we can just do whatever we want with they can do whatever they want with these movies.
Right.
You know?
It was the jumping on point. Like how Civil War was for Black Panther.
Yeah, and like
It was-
Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man. It's like you can introduce these people in a team up movie and then send them on their own way.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers and DC just did not fucking understand that.
Yeah.
They just did not wrap their brain around it. We have to be Marvel.
Yeah,
No,
you need
don't.
more of a reason than we want this guy in the movie. You got to be like, we
Right.
need this catalyst character for this reason. Boom. And like that's the thing about Cyborg. He's the perfect character for this movie.
Yes.
He is the one thing that could pretty much, basically take down the mother boxes.
Yeah, I mean, they tied him directly to the mother boxes, so he's as important to the plot as they are. as
Exactly.
MacGuffins.
And it'll be interesting to see what that plays into when Darkseid gets a wind of that because, he's got apocalypse shit in him, from the whole planet because that's where the mother boxes are from. I'm right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah. And so it'd be kind of cool. It's like he hacks Cyborg, turns him against the Justice League. That'd be
Right.
something.
Right.
I don't know, dude. This left us with wanting more.
Yes.
All the
Yeah.
other ones really just kind of
We were excited
Yeah.
to make fun of them.
Yeah.
We were super stoked to talk about them,
Yeah.
but we didn't necessarily want to see more.
now
Now,
it's like yeah, you're just like rooting for someone and you just keep seeing them fail and you're like, God, buddy. And then this one you're just like, yeah, come on, buddy.
Go.
You're doing it.
You got
You're
it.
doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when Justice League was released, I was like, it looks like they got to just burn everything down.
yep, they gotta do it
And just
again.
restart Justice League. That is. I was like, they messed this up.
It's over.
Restart, reboot.
Like we've seen pretty much all of these movies in theaters, and then when Justice League came out, we're like, no, big no.
No.
I just got horrible reviews out of the gate.
Yeah.
Just horrible. And it was like, dang.
I've always left these movies very underwhelmed. Now it's like a place where I don't know. I mean, it's limitless. Again, it's just the sandbox is open now. You know,
It's
what I mean?
it's very encouraging that like Patty Jenkins and James Wan have both said that they see the Snyder Cut as canon
Yeah, that's
to
what.
the movie
Yeah.
universe.
Because I heard Jason Momoa say that's what Aquaman
Yes.
is taking after.
Like we made fun of them for like setting up Aquaman in it, but I think they needed to do that I think there's a reason he didn't cut that scene. He didn't cut the scenes that attach to the other movies because he's like, this is the Justice League event. Okay.
Yeah.
The Joss Whedon thing was just to push it out there for you. You know, this is what is actually happening in this universe, and everything that happens from here will happen because of this. And I'm like,
He built a clear world.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
with like established boundaries. They had all the stuff with like all the dialogue stuff setting up Arthur's entire conflict with Atlantis.
Right.
You know, I mean, it plays out in the Aquaman movie, but like him talking to Willem Dafoe, that would have been greatly helpful in the Justice League theatrical Justice League. Fucking. Oh man, everything was so much better. It was so much better.
Well, I mean, and like digging into the parts, and like I remember at the beginning, I'm like, part one, where's Cyborg? Where's Flash? What the fuck is going on? By the time you get to Cyborg and Flash, you completely forget that you were missing them at the beginning,
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, they needed space. The beginning is Batman and Wonder Woman. The middle is kind of Aquaman making decisions, and then we start to dig into Cyborg and Flash, and then we can just keep going.
Yep.
You know, it was rewarding because it allows you to be patient and just enjoy what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean when they're setting up Steppenwolf and what his motivations are,
Mhm.
and the process of him getting the two mother boxes from the Atlantis and from flipping Themyscira.
Right.
I mean, you
Yes.
don't. I mean, that's like its own. That could be almost its own movie. They could have split it up into Steppenwolf getting the boxes,
Totally.
and then the Justice League coming together at the end of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then start the second movie with
Yep.
them going to get it. So they could have easily turned this 4-hour movie into two 2-hour movies, and it would have been
It
Totally
would've
fine.
worked. Yeah.
yeah, it could have been fine. Which I think, I mean, it's it's possible to know without actually talking
Right.
to him. But
And
I mean,
even if he cut it down to be like 3 hours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
still would have been a lot more of a cohesive piece,
Mhm.
you know? And just like everything they set up paid off.
Right.
Like even the Martian Manhunter scene, we were just like, was that scene just included to blow our minds, I guess? Yeah. And then he shows up again at the end to talk to Bruce.
Yep.
And he was like, okay,
Yeah.
you're setting some up.
Just
he definitely could have just come talk to Bruce at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have. You'd already seen him, so it wasn't as like jarring then.
Right.
It didn't, because if they would have just put it at the end of the movie and tacked it on, it would have truly felt just completely tacked on.
Yeah,
But
what?
instead they put him in there to get Lois to the to
Memorial,
the memorial
yeah.
one more time.
Yeah.
So can he see the future? Was he associated with that nightmare that Bruce had?
Let's see. Because, yeah, let me check.
Because
Martian
I'm just
Manhunter.
curious. And again, they needed Superman to stop Steppenwolf. I totally understand why they woke him up. But if he can, and I'm totally guessing here, why would he go tell Lois Lane to be there to calm Superman down, and then basically set up the entire situation to happen? Well, I guess if they would have woken him up, he would have just been evil the whole time. So never
Yeah,
mind.
it's also
My
like
point holds no water.
what was Mr. Martian doing
Yeah, he's
during the main fight?
he's just been the general, just like walking around like, I could stop this,
He's like, I
but I'm not gonna.
could probably help. We've got things going on.
Yeah, I could fly. I could get there pretty quick, but like,
Dude, I just don't want
I
to.
don't wanna. Yeah.
The schedule is It's jam packed.
I was supposed to get coffee with a friend. If the parademons show up in there, maybe I'll fight.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
maybe.
It just says he's got really great telepathic powers.
Mhm.
So he could have read somebody's mind.
Sure.
They're just like, oh, these guys are going to wake up Superman. He's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Gotta get Lois.
Okay, one thing that I don't want them to do going forward with this is don't make Mara replace Aquaman. Please don't. Please don't. At the end of the movie, Amber Heard runs out with the trident. She's all sad. She's like, you don't know what losing someone is like. And it's like, I hope that you don't, because I don't want you to become the hero. I just don't want this.
It would be so much of a bummer.
It's just like they finally. The Aquaman's a good movie. People like Jason Momoa. People like they played him really well in this. Like it ends up being a really good arc. Don't undercut him and take him out of the big climax. You know what I mean? She's not that engaging enough of a character
Right.
to replace him. You know. Again, they may have just been
well, that
titillating
horrible accent.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember if she had the accent in Aquaman or if James Wan was like, "You do such a bad accent.
Stop
You're
it."
done."
You're done.
It's easier to make Dolph Lundgren have an American accent than you to have some fucking British accent. Bastard!
Bastard took my love. Can't. Well,
It's so bad.
refuse. I don't know. It'll be cool. Especially if they go down this like apocalyptic route and they've been setting up. Batman has these dreams, and then all of a sudden we're in that setting, but it's no longer dreams. You know, I want to see that. I want to see fucking apocalypse Batman taking on Superman and working with Joker and all that. I do really want to see that. You know, like we can make that happen.
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, they could definitely keep the ball rolling with this.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
With this whole
100%.
universe. I mean, it's just completely been refreshed. It was completely dead in the water for a little while. And
Yeah.
it's like, I guess we'll look for the next great standalone movie or whatever.
Yeah. And
But-
I feel like that now this has been released, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill would probably be like, yeah, I come back because
Yeah.
it's the movie I was signed up to make.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it
It's-
makes me realize like all the critiques we've been giving the actors aren't really on the actors. You know,
No.
they do a really good job when the story is put together well.
Well, I've always been team
Batfleck.
Yeah.
Always. I've
again,
thought he's been fantastic.
I think he looks the most like the cartoon Batman, or like he looks like Batman. That's the thing. He's not. You don't have to put like extra padding on him to make him look like the character. No, he can put on the suit. He looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
He
100%.
fucking lifted his goddamn heart out.
Mhm.
It's so funny watching Gone Girl because he was getting prepared for Batman.
He's
while
just getting thicker.
He's just
and
getting
he's
thicker
red.
and thicker, and then he gets naked at the end and gets in the shower. He's just yoked out of his fucking mind.
Wonder what's going on with this guy in his life.
Yeah, he's going through this traumatic experience where he's being framed for murdering his wife, and then he's just got to get a lift in,
Got
man.
Sometimes you got to de-stress. You know, it's an important part of the day.
Like, now I want to go back and watch Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman.
Mhm.
And the thing is, it's like the Ultimate Edition of Batman versus Superman is so much better, even though it has that whole side tangent where, you know, Superman's investigating that witness from
Right.
Africa. But that played a part because
Mhm.
it was a lie, you know, because that whole thing was set up by Lex Luthor. You know?
Right. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think one of the things that Zack Snyder is like having to battle uphill against is like he has these ideas, he has this path he wants to go down with the story. Like I think seeing this, I can tell he has a great idea, and then like producers come in, they say, "We need this moment, though. We need this to happen." You know,
You know what I think it is because it's not normal Hollywood storytelling.
that's true.
It's not fitting the mold, and the producers want it to fit
Mhm.
a mold.
And let me tell you, I love the parts. I really did. I felt like I was almost like watching a book. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it felt like a very solid conclusion to the story we watched. It made sense why it was so long. You know what I mean? Like we really did just get to breathe in this story and just enjoy the experience.
It's gonna be nice rewatching it too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely rewatch it in parts because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit down.
Not
4
4
hours.
hours.
That's a long time just be sitting there and like watching one continuous story.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice to rewatch the parts.
Just a couple parts a day, break it up in like
Exactly.
3 days.
If HBO is nice, they will just do that for us. They'll cut them into
Yeah, that'd be great.
episodes. Yeah, it's
like
great.
Hateful Eight, you know,
Yeah,
on
no,
Netflix.
they could easily do that.
yeah.
They already
I
have
mean-
so many behind the scenes.
Well,
and stuff.
it showed like breaks in that, so I think maybe if you like press up or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
you could
it
like
did.
skip to those parts. The breaks on it,
clever,
yeah.
clever. Interesting.
It'll be good. And we might get a fucking black and white version. 'Cause
Right?
That's what Zack Snyder said. He was intending to make it like the more definitive version was the black and white version.
Mhm.
I can't remember what he called it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why, because like we were pointing out when we were watching like comparisons of the Justice League and in this one, like the coloring was so much better in this. Like I don't even know if I want him to make it black and white because I love the tone that he made
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
movie.
it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It was like
Just
that.
it was just darker.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes,
And
exactly.
it served the tone perfectly.
Yeah, all the colors way more muted. Because
Yeah.
when after we watched it, we were watching some scenes from the Justice League, and we were like, oh,
Ugh, it pops
didn't even
too much.
look like the
Flash
same
in
movie.
particular.
And the
oh.
thing is like they listen to the fans on the wrong things.
Mhm.
They're like, these movies are too serious. These movies are too dark. These movies, like, the colors are so muted. And so they hire Joss Whedon to Marvelize the shit
Mhm.
and then blast it with color, put jokes in it, and it fucks it up because it's not their game.
Right.
Marvel's good at it. Marvel movies are their own fucking genre.
Yeah.
DC movies, their own fucking genre. And just keep doing what you want to do.
Mhm.
It took them fucking 4 years for them to finally be like, all right, the fans are really wanting this edition of the movie.
Right.
Like, how do you listen to fans about, they want it to be like Marvel, and then not the fans who are just like,
Give
we
us a
want to
good
see what the
product.
guy we liked do.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly.
and I mean, they did it with Watchmen. His extended edition of Watchmen is so close to the fucking graphic novel,
really.
aside from the ending. But the ending that he chose makes sense,
Mhm. Mhm.
I liked it a lot.
Well, and it's not like there's no humor in this.
No,
Because you
yeah.
have Flash, Ezra Miller. He's providing levity literally the entire movie.
Entire time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's it's refreshing. It's not like that stupid lasso scene that we keep talking
Mhm.
about, where it's just like this is just
For the sake of it.
ham-handed and unfunny. And
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think
Well,
even
and
just,
that was the other scene that they talked about that they removed was, when Wonder Woman's falling and he catches her, he lands with his face in her boobs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for what? And that Gal Gadot refused to film that. She's just like, put a stunt double in, turn her head the other way
Yep.
if you're going to do this stupid sexist fucking joke.
oh my god, yeah. No, it's interesting because I think, and I see this. I don't know if this is just Joss humor. I don't know. I might be a little too harsh on this, but like you look at later Marvel movies, Russo, Taika movies, whatever. The jokes come from the characters, right? They're not set up gags. They're not like this is happening. Whatever. They are. Like you were saying with Flash, it's just Flash being Flash, and his personality, his character,
Yeah.
is what makes him funny.
I
in this
genuinely
situation.
like that more than the Flash that Grant Gustin plays on the live action show because he's pretty sappy serious a lot.
Right.
And like the humor in that show comes from like his sidekick buddies.
Mhm.
He's just he's such a fucking rom-com, not even rom-com, romantic drama character in that
Right.
show. He's all about Iris. I gotta get Iris.
Go save her.
Go save her.
Yeah. No, he was more focused on the hot dogs in this than Iris.
Definitely.
Pocket dog, baby.
Pocket dog, gotta feed the dogs.
PDS, pocket dog situation.
Pocket dog for a dog.
We got a PDS. We got a pocket dog situation. So
God, that was-
Flash is on top of it. And think about the things that Flash does in this movie. You could make the argument, why'd you use this in his first appearance? Why not say? Because now in all of his future appearances, he's so much more interesting. The fact that he can run back time now. He can do all these different things.
Well, he's aware enough of his powers. I mean, he had the suit, the frictionless
Yep.
suit, and all that. But to be like, I have a rule to not run faster
Yeah.
than the speed of light because
Yep.
time will go fucking backwards.
Mhm.
And I didn't even pick up on that. That's what was being alluded to in the rebirth chamber scene with it. Like, time was going
Right.
backwards. I mean, it worked
Mhm.
and it brought Superman back to life, but that was completely absent from Justice League
Very
because
much.
he was just like, yeah, just have it touch the water, and he touches it, hits the wall, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna have him run back in time in
Yeah.
this one. Fuck you.
So in Flash's origin story, how would he know that is a rule he can't break? That's what I don't know because they kept alluding to there's this rule. Who gave him this rule?
That's a good question because the rule is pretty much established by him to not fuck with time because of Flashpoint.
okay.
But that is gonna happen after this,
Mhm.
allegedly.
Right.
So
Or is it gonna like the movie would come out? Is it chronologically gonna happen
that's
after this?
an excellent question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Cyborg was supposed to be in it until all this Ray Fisher drama, and they like canned him, and then all the support turned around.
Yeah.
So he could very well show back up in it.
Wait, they canned him?
Yeah,
Why?
because he complained
Oh.
about or at least they removed his part from Flash. They're like, we'll see what we'll do with him, but you're not going to be in Flashpoint. you know, because he fucking talked shit about a producer. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey man,
A
he's
producer is
speaking
putting out-
up.
A producer that's putting out shitty movies.
Yeah.
No, not even putting out shitty movies, ruining good movies.
Well, and
putting them
also
out.
he took after that producer because he's like, I brought up all this shit about Joss Whedon to him, and he just didn't fucking do anything. If anything, he enabled him. And it's just like, oh well,
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
I don't know. I'm encouraged, man. I think we're moving into a new I think like we as viewers and everything are moving into a new genre of just content. You
Yeah.
know? I feel like it's finally like that kind of bullshit is getting worked out and we're getting really quality. Like, and that's the thing. It can be 4 hours. Give it room to breathe. People want to watch this stuff, you know?
I was thinking about this actually. An analogy for it is like, so when a studio greenlights a movie, they fund it, and so they're basically placing a bet. They're gambling. All
Right.
right. So what they're trying to do is hedge their bets. Basically, if like DC movies are horses, they're going down to the horses and being like, okay, so based on all this stuff that I've read analytically, this jockey will run better, the horseshoes will make it run better, all this stuff, and then the gates open, the horse falls flat on its fucking face and has to be shot on the track. You know what's better? Just letting the people who know how to ride horses ride the fucking horses.
Right.
Place the bets on that. Trust that the jockey who's assigned to that horse knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's almost
Don't
like
try and fucking put your thumb on it.
it's almost like you're putting money on the race rather than the horse itself.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, we got to do this so that it works, rather than I have this idea for like this character, this concept.
And it's all based off of fucking analytics. What the fuck are analytics?
Yep.
They're reducing audiences down to statistics. And
Yep.
it's like, hey,
Yeah, it takes
audiences aren't dumb.
it takes the art out of this stuff.
I think really the big hope is that lots and lots of people are going to watch the Snyder Cut, and it's going to be a huge success for HBO Max.
Yeah.
And they realize that through these alternate means, they can put out this longer, different,
yes.
non-traditional content,
Mhm.
and people are going to love it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what people like.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
you can put out a movie like this
Mhm.
in these parts here because it's not like going to a theater
Right.
and you have to fit the entire thing in one sitting. You
Mhm.
could break this up if you wanted to
Mhm.
and
Right.
watch it in different parts, and that was never something. There was an option for a feature length film.
Right.
Precisely. Yeah.
And I think that it would just do better. Just get Zack Snyder back. He's gonna get a sequel. He's gonna. People love this.
Yeah.
Like IMDb, it's at an 8.5 from like 100,000 people.
Yeah, the fact that this many people have already, tons of people watched this before.
'Cause
us,
this came out
sat down for the
Thursday.
4 hours since Thursday. Tons of people have spent the full 4 hours to enjoy this, and they love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It works. People are willing to do it. You just got to give it a chance. You
Mhm.
know?
And
I think DC's it has a very bright future.
I do
'Cause,
too.
I mean, you have this,
Mhm.
and it's nice with DC. They've changed Batman's alone so many times
Right.
since year 2000.
yeah.
They could do because I mean, you could come out with the Batman with Robert Pattinson, and then
Joker
switch over
with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, and then switch over to back to Batfleck for a little while, and then Flashpoint. You said it's going to be Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
You can use a whole bunch of different people. That's really one of the really cool things about DC
Right.
that I don't, that Marvel's constructed itself in a way that it's not going to be as conducive to doing that. 'Cause
Right.
they
You
kinda
can't
rely on these
recast
big-
Robert Downey Jr.
No,
He's
you
Iron
can't
Man.
make another Iron Man. He
Yeah.
is Iron Man.
Mhm.
But Batman,
He's been
I
fucking
mean,
everybody.
yeah, Batman has been fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Literally.
And yeah, because I mean, I like Christian Bale, and I liked
Right.
Ben Affleck,
Love Ben Affleck. Yep.
Robert Pattinson, looking great.
I can't wait. And that's an interesting thing too. Is like you own the characters, so you don't have that. You can have the DCEU, you can do the whole universe, and then make little solo projects and make them like just continue to add to the mythology of these characters. Like
Yeah.
Sam and I talk about with these comic book characters all the time. This is our modern day mythology. This resonates with us because these are our myths. This is the stuff that brings us together, and we can resonate with these extreme characters.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. I'm looking at the IMDb page for the Flash movie. Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are going to be in it.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
And they also cast someone as Supergirl,
Interesting.
Sasha
We'll see.
Callie.
So it could be very similar. So yeah, I think Michael Keaton as Thomas Wayne could be a very realistic probability.
Mhm.
You see Batman in the Flashpoint,
Right. Right.
just like capping criminals with guns and
Mhm.
stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like this is completely different. I
Wow.
could see Michael Keaton being wonderful as that.
Yeah, they have variety on their side.
Mm-hmm.
You
Better
know,
get him on the Sawzall right now. I do not want Batman. I don't want a small Batman.
I
Yeah.
mean, did you see him as the Vulture? Okay, he was covered in jackets.
big bomber jackets.
Give that man a Carhartt. Call it a day.
Call it a day. It's done. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh,
When-
Aldous Hodge is going to be Hawkman.
Ooh,
It's
I
Black
I
Adam.
like that.
Aldous Hodge, she's you recognize him.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
pull him
I'm
up.
sure I would.
Plays MC Ren in Straight Outta Compton. I think he's in the show.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Turn.
he's an Invisible Man.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that he's in that
See him.
Invisible Man.
Go to his profile real quick. I'm pretty sure he is, as we talked about him.
Yeah, I think didn't you say that he should play somebody? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Invisible Man. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is him. Because I was talking about him as potentially being the next Black Panther.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
And he was also in an episode of Black Mirror, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure was. Sure was.
Because that's where I recognized him.
Mm-hmm.
the Black
He's
Museum.
great. Yeah, he's in a
Yep.
show Turn, which is really good too.
That's right. Yeah, it was the Black Museum episode that he was the dad who was married to this woman,
Put
and
her
he puts
in.
the woman in her head.
that one.
Big mistake.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Big mistake. And then puts the woman in.
He's
a
been in a
big
lot of
mistake. We're
shit,
saying
man.
one more time. Yeah, he
He was in Die Hard 3. He was a kid, but
Really?
he was in Die Hard 3.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Jacked City.
Sure.
But
Shredded.
and I
some
like
wings,
that.
bro. It's about to be a hawk.
He's
I like that they cast him as Hawkman because I'm like, if they're gonna do Hawkman, they better not make him white because he's from fucking Egypt, dude.
And
like,
listen, if we're gonna do that, give him the coolest fucking mace that has ever been created by anybody in film ever.
You don't want the 70s. The 70s. Stand by my Hawkman.
that was from Heavy Metal, though.
Oh, is that from
That's
Heavy Metal? Oh, I thought that was from the
shit was
Flash
great,
movie.
though.
Okay.
Stand by my Hawkman.
I know that from Family Guy. That's like the
Exactly.
best Family
And
Guy.
I found that out because I watched a little bit of Heavy Metal. It's dated, it's
Yeah.
super dated. But I was like, oh, that's where the Hawkman thing came from. Oh yeah.
But coming back to this idea of the DC, one thing I always like to bring up that illustrates this, like one specific comic, is Superman Red Sun,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
where
sure.
it's
you
a
can
completely different take on literally every single character.
Mhm.
yeah.
Like Superman lands in Russia and he's takes over the Soviet
Yes.
Union
Okay, he's talking
after
about this.
yeah.
after
and
Stalin dies.
Yeah.
Batman is
he was in a gulag work
yeah,
camp.
was in a gulag work camp and hates Superman because he hates
So
communism.
dope. Oh,
The Green Lantern is a Marine.
Yeah,
Lex Luthor becomes the president.
right.
Wonder Woman is also
She's,
Russian. She's Themyscira. And
yeah,
she
but
teams
she's
up
like
with
an
Superman.
envoy. Yeah, she's like partnered up with Superman.
And then
Interesting.
Megamind comes in and
Mm-hmm.
starts
Brainiac.
doing
Brainiac, yeah.
not Megamind.
Because Brainiac, they found him because he crashed into Sputnik, and then they reprogrammed him, but he turned out to be really pulling the strings the whole time. It's fucking good.
Interesting.
They could
It's
do
great.
those Elseworld stories just as one-off movies and cast anybody.
yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
why the fuck not?
They're not
They
afraid
do
to do
all
it
those
now.
one-shot things a lot, like the, what's the one I'm thinking of? All-Star Superman. That's a story where Superman dies,
Mhm.
but it's not because of doomsday or anything. It's because he's absorbed too much radiation from the sun. So it's like his last day on Earth.
Right.
It's really, really fucking good.
Well, I hear you guys talking about this. I'm like, this would be make limited series on HBO. You know,
Right.
make these like 9 episodes of a season, right, and
Yeah.
tell the whole
Batman Ninja?
story.
Batman
Yeah.
Ninja would be
Batman
fucking
is
cool.
just a little wacky. I think to me, just leave Batman.
Leave it
Ninja.
as an anime.
Leave
Leave
it
it as an
where
anime.
it is. That thing is unique. That thing is wonderful. We don't need to bring Batman Ninja into the
Come
real
on, the
world.
world needs
That-
Batman
that-
Ninja.
that is such a unique
It was
piece of art.
so
Let's
bizarre.
just leave it where it is. We don't need to adapt that to live action.
Oh my god, that's their
Oh,
next movie.
Batman Ninja.
Batman
Ninja.
Ninja.
Starring Ben Affleck, and he's just wearing the fucking samurai armor. He's like, how the fuck did
How?
I get into this?
I thought we had this on track.
Man, if they.
Who knows? You know?
Ugh. There's so many different directions they could take. I think it's going to end up being a good thing that they're not pigeonholing themselves into one giant story arc.
Yeah.
They can have this one, another one,
And that's the
another
thing.
one.
They don't
Right.
have to be Marvel. They can do a version of Marvel. Marvel can do their thing. And then they can just experiment, and play around with these characters in this story and all this stuff. Again, I think this 100% saves Zack Snyder's vision. This
Oh yeah.
totally got things back on track. If they don't keep going with this, I'm going to be really disappointed in Warner Bros. And HBO. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're fucking up big time if
Huge
they let
missed
that
opportunity.
slide.
Yeah. So give it a chance, and
Yeah.
see. I mean, again, you've just, like we've been saying, opened so many doors. You
Right.
owe it to us to go into.
I
it now,
know,
you know.
man.
I do want to talk about Jesse Eisenberg.
God,
Listen,
yeah, okay.
listen. I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion. I really like him.
Yeah?
Because if you look, who is the closest to Lex Luthor today? It's going to be Bill Gates.
Yep.
He's sticking people with needles in Africa, seeing what the vaccines do.
Seeing what's
He
happening.
had the idea to launch a rocket, and I can't remember the word right now, but he basically wanted to change the weather.
Oh, yeah.
And he's funding all sorts of interesting climate projects right now. He's the closest thing we have to Lex Luthor,
Mhm.
and he doesn't look like Lex Luthor traditionally does, like big, jacked,
Yeah.
for some reason.
Well,
Can you
and
imagine
also
Bill Gates
all
as
the
Lex Luthor?
yeah, also all the sinister shit that Mark Zuckerberg has done. He does
Yep.
not look like the guy capable of doing that.
Jesse Eisenberg, I mean, obviously, he literally
Zuckerberg,
played
yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg in the
Mhm.
Social Network.
Yeah,
I think he's an excellent modern day Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor, I feel like, in the traditional sense, is more of like a big burly businessman, but that's not what guys like that
Totally.
look like.
Totally.
They look like Mark Zuckerberg. They look like Bill Gates.
right.
So I actually really like that take on him.
I
And
liked-
watching Batman versus Superman
Mhm.
again after stewing on it for
Mhm.
7 years. I actually really I really like his performance. I mean, he's just crazy,
Yes.
just a crazy smart,
I
crazy,
just didn't-
powerful.
The only thing I didn't like about his performance was his little Mickey Mouse laugh. He kept doing that, and I was just like, reel it in
Yeah,
just a
right.
little bit, and I can get on board.
Well, I mean, you see Lex Luthor in the epilogue to this movie.
He was a different guy.
He was
it
a
seems
different
like.
Lex Luthor. He was
Yeah.
bald,
Yeah.
which he was at the end of Batman versus Superman. He was wearing the Oxford
Mhm.
shirt and the checkered suit.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
checkered suit, but you know what I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
patterned suit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think this is the version of Lex Luthor in this modern day society. I mean, the
Mhm.
Lex Luthor that they wrote back then, perfect comic villain for back in the times. This really is, I totally agree. This is who Lex Luthor would be in the modern day world. I'm so in. And my big thing with Batman, Superman, and Lex Luthor in particular in that role, I was like, if you're going to bring him in, make it just about Superman. I mean, I just feel like what the Joker is to Batman, Lex Luthor is to Superman. So you got to start that relationship so personal. And it is very personal in Batman, Superman, but you never really understand. I guess you do understand, but I was never really bought into his reason for wanting to bring down Superman, you know?
As his
Right.
first outing for taking down Superman, it was quite ambitious.
Yeah.
And so it could have been he fails one time.
Right. Yeah. And he
He
fails.
gets foiled one time.
And even if you've got, I really would have loved that
Or if he
movie.
linked up with Zod even.
Sure. And I'm like, bring him in an antagonistic relationship with Superman and bring Batman in an antagonistic relationship with Superman and let those two things just kind of play out and collide with each other. That was where I just, again, how does he know all this stuff? And how, I mean, it just was like,
He's Lex Luthor. He's
That's-
he's a genius.
he does
Yeah.
have everything
He knows
at his disposal.
he knows
I mean,
everyone's secret
The
identity.
only
Although,
person rivaling his intellect is Batman.
Right.
let's talk about the secret identities, because they're not a secret in this movie.
No.
No.
They take the
At all.
they take the Batman Returns approach, because Batman, James Gordon's like, "What's up, Bruce?" Talking to Batman.
That's
It's like,
right.
what?
What?
Are we just not doing this anymore? This one, there are certain instances where it's like Bruce went and nobody knows
Mhm.
it's Batman. That's like what the Batman Arkham games do.
Mhm.
Nobody knows that it's Bruce Wayne. Nobody.
Absolutely
Only
zero
Alfred.
people. And,
You know,
Robins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robin, Nightwing,
Yeah.
the usual. But in this one, it's like every person Batman meets, he's like, "I'm Batman."
By the way,
I am Batman. And then Clark Kent, that whole thing, they just need to stop that. I don't know
Yeah.
why he needs to be Clark Kent at all.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
And
what
he throws on
difference does it
glasses
make?
and people
Yeah.
are like, "Hey man, you look a lot like that guy."
The
We have
guy.
facial recognition technology
Yeah.
now.
You know the guy that everybody's talking about? You look exactly like him.
Yeah, the guy who went missing
Right.
around the same time you died.
Well, I think you made that point at the end when he comes out. He's back to being Clark Kent and whatever, and you're like, but everybody thought Clark Kent died too.
Yeah.
So now Clark Kent and Superman have both come back to life.
Nobody's
at
drawing the connection.
Exact same
But
time.
Then again, think about it too. So you said you haven't seen Man of Steel.
No.
Lois Lane figures out he's Clark Kent immediately.
It's-
immediately.
This is my.
It is no struggle whatsoever.
This is my
and
knock on
everyone
Man of
else is
Steel.
scratching their fucking heads.
It's more a Lois Lane movie than a Superman movie. That I'll say about Man of Steel. It's not
The first
bad.
half is,
Yeah,
at
the
least.
first
Maybe
half
not
is.
making me want to watch it.
I
at all. Well, every time Lois Lane was in this movie, we
pull out our phones.
Quick check, real quick.
I love
Lois
you,
is on.
Amy Adams, but sorry, it's just how it is.
But like, that was just the thing when I saw Man of Steel in theaters. I was just like, interesting choice to just throw that out the window, because it was, as a character standpoint, a big deal for him to reveal to Lois who he was, because he was dating her as Superman, working with her as Clark Kent.
right.
You know,
It's I'm sitting here thinking, and I don't want to say how the movie should have been, because I really loved it, but if it were to be cut into two parts, I think it would have been cool to like have kind of Steppenwolf almost as like a Thanos type, where he's the more protagonist, picking things up. You get to know him, and then meanwhile, the Justice League is doing all these things to, whatever. Like you could have, because that's the thing. Lois is going to be a huge part of this. If they end up going down the path they're going to go down, Lois is going to be.
she's the key.
She's the key. And that's the thing. I would have liked to see her maybe interact with Bruce Wayne a little bit more, to just drive that home, to be like, she's going to be important, not just to Superman, but to everybody.
Right.
Her death could be catastrophic, which they know, but give her some more moments with people so we can feel that emotional weight. And then you can have these different character moments while Steppenwolf is getting the boxes and fucking up the Amazons and the Atlanteans. And then by the end, he has all of them and whatnot. And then they got to come together and be the Justice League,
Come together!
Jack, the movie was 4 hours long. You just explained
added a
something.
lot.
There was maybe 30 more minutes to the movie. So I think
If he was gonna split it into two parts.
I think we could get into that in a later movie.
in the next one.
Because it was already immensely long, and you're explaining how they needed to.
Oh, they needed more, bro. They needed
We
more.
needed more.
We needed
character
another
development
hour.
between Lois and
Bruce
Bruce.
Wayne, in particular.
That's what we needed.
Yeah.
Can we do a couple quick points about Wonder Woman really quick? Okay. First off, fighting's awesome. Love Wonder Woman's fighting. I really, really enjoyed that when she was in like fast, when it wasn't slow-mo, which the slow-mo at times helped, mostly distracted. But when she was like hitting people and they were going flying and their heads were splattering against the
That's the
wall.
thing, you guys keep saying the slow-mo was distracting.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think
At
it was
the beginning,
distracting.
it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was like
It might
distracting
be.
at the beginning.
And it might
Really?
be a preference thing.
Yeah, because I didn't even notice it.
It was just certain stuff that I'm just like, why are you emphasizing this? Like,
Right.
sure, there was like when it was the action stuff, like them swinging the hammers to break those pillars and stuff. I get it,
Right.
but there was like one part where it was like,
like when they flip a horse and it like hits the ground slow or something like that.
no, I was fine with that.
Okay.
If it was during action, if it was like the stuff that happened, like I can't really remember a specific one,
could
but it was
say-
just like.
Like for me, when with Wonder Woman, and this is where I was bothered by it, when she first comes in and I think like deflects the bullet with the thing, and we see what a bullet looks like to her, right? That's a cool moment because now we kind of understand how Wonder Woman sees the world. When she comes back down and the guy is pulling the trigger at all the people, and then we have this multiple slow motion moments of him like pulling the trigger and her doing it again. I'm just kind of like, I'd rather just see her just pop, tink, and then like have. But again, that's a preference thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just pulled up from the Justice League because I was like, how the fuck did Superman calm down after waking up? And we did need that Martian Manhunter scene. I'm gonna turn this. Give me that cord. There. But like this whole sequence where he meets Batman is so different and stupid.
Oh, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Alfred, I need the big gun.
You did this.
I had to.
You won't let me live.
Just fucking live.
You won't let me die.
Oh yeah, that's.
The world needs you.
But does it need you? Tell me.
He had Alfred bring her.
Okay.
Clark.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's so because that means like Alfred bring the big guns. That means that they had Lois Lane waiting in the wings the whole fucking movie.
Exactly. And like, you knew you were probably gonna need her. Just have her
Have
there.
her there
You
at
know
the
what I
same-
mean?
Okay, so you know what? Good for Martian Manhunter.
Yes,
Yeah, big part. Actually.
thank you.
Actually, it turns out
goodness.
to be a
Yeah.
incredible improvement. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
for fuck's sake.
Now, the one other thing with Wonder Woman that we got to talk about is this score that comes on
Mhm.
every time she does something. I really like the electric guitar that they kind of had in Batman versus Superman going on and whatnot. And I don't mind the score. I mean, it's like, it reminds me of ancient Greece. I like it. It's the fact that they play the exact same part of it every time she goes to do something.
Yeah.
And it happened at parts where I thought that it was someone still yelling
Yep.
or her still yelling.
Yep.
So that was weird.
Right.
But about the score, so when Joss Whedon took over, he fired Junkie XL and put Danny Elfman in, and it got stupid cartoonish.
Yeah.
It sounded like a Tim Burton movie. You know, like it has that whole bank scene at the beginning, and Bruce Bolton is walking up the stairs and just going womp 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 womp. You know, like what is this? Are we watching Beetlejuice right now? I thought this was Justice League, not fucking
I mean, Michael Keaton is
Edward Scissorhands or any Tim Burton movie for that fucking matter.
Any of 'em.
because Danny Elfman scored all of them.
right. Yeah, that's true. And I think to that point, I think you're exactly right. They were like, people think Zack Snyder's too dark. He's stepping down. You know. Also, great shout out to Autumn at the end of the movie. Very
Mhm.
emotional.
Yeah.
Very nice. Love it. And they were like, okay, this is our chance to change this and make it into that campy movie. Get Joss Whedon to literally hype this up like a cartoon or a peppy kind of comic, rather than stay true to the kind of graphic novel route that Zack Snyder has established. That's really, I think, the biggest difference. Zack Snyder movies feel like graphic novels. Everything else feels like a comic book movie. Nothing wrong with either of them, but if you've been living in this graphic novel world for so long and then all of a sudden it turns into this weird comic campy, kind of bullshit in that moment, you're not only are you like, do you dislike the movie? You feel betrayed as an
You
audience
undo
member.
it.
Yeah.
Undo all the progress.
Like even that moment where he picks him up and he's like, do you bleed? And all that. Like
Doesn't make fucking sense.
it's, I don't, based on the way that scene's set up, I don't think he would do any of that. I
No.
think he still doesn't really even know where he is in that moment. He wouldn't recognize Batman. I don't know.
Well, he
It's-
did in that.
Oh yeah, he did.
In
He
the
did.
Snyder cut.
But yeah,
it was
for what purpose? It's always what is the purpose of what you're trying to do? Yeah. Are you trying to remind us that they were both in Batman versus Superman? Great. We knew that because their names are in the title of the movie. What was the point of that? You know? Okay. Rehashing old bullshit. No, keep moving. Keep moving forward with this story. Yeah.
Good God. Just watching that scene, I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Like, everybody at Warner Brothers was like, yep, we're selling this.
Love it.
People are going to buy tickets. They're
Yeah.
going to buy the tickets. And it had the worst opening of any DC movie. Because everyone was smelling the bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I think just
What I
the-
mean, when you're talking about the tone
Mhm.
of the movie too, I mean, just like we said earlier, just the look of Star Labs in Justice League versus the Snyder Cut is
Mhm.
completely different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we talked about the flashes, he's
Mhm.
way brighter in Justice League, and this one
True.
a lot more muted.
True.
And I mean, just all of that goes to change that
Mhm.
vibe completely.
Absolutely.
And it serves a much better vibe because it feels like the stakes are actually fucking high,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Well, and another thing too, just like, you look at what was the Avengers to Marvel, is this culminating moment, right? What was the Justice League, the Justice League? It was just kind of some dog shit in November, right? What was this? This was, okay, these people work together well. I didn't think any of them knew each other by the end of the Justice League. You know what I mean? Like they were in the same place at the same time and said some stuff to each other. Now I'm like, they'll be in other stuff
Yeah.
together, for sure.
Well, honestly, the way that Justice League played out was like, it wasn't an Avengers level threat, you
Right.
know? It was like fucking Wonder Woman and Aquaman could have taken Steppenwolf down by themselves. They were
Mhm.
kicking his ass in the fucking climax of that other movie,
right.
you know?
Mhm.
And then Superman shows up. And this one, it was detrimental that they had Superman,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And the other one is just like, yeah, we could have handled it without him.
He just, we needed to get, Superman into the Justice. If we do the first Justice League movie without Superman, what kind of movie is that? I don't know, maybe Zack Snyder killed him for a reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like when Batman vs Superman came out, we were all talking shit. We're like, why would he kill Superman before the Justice League ever? To give that extra emotional impact and that big moment at the end because Steppenwolf was going to destroy everything. Cyborg sees the future. He sees that Superman's supposed to destroy everything. He still goes through with it. You know, you got to have those stakes. You got to have those personal moments in the movie so that when they make the decision, it makes sense to you as well, right? It's not just, again, I hate plots that just happen. I can't tolerate it.
There has to be a
anymore.
reason.
I don't think most viewers can tolerate it anymore because we have seen so much quality storytelling now.
That's what that entire fucking Monster Hunter movie was just shit
Right.
happening.
Yeah,
I didn't even see that.
It was garbage. It was hot garbage.
he's got a great review of it.
It was fun to be like, what the fuck am I watching? You know, talk about disjointed.
Good old Ronnie Perlman hopping in at the end, right?
Yeah, at the very end, he looks ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh man.
Oh my
But
god.
one other thing that I really liked about this movie was just all the violence.
Yes. We didn't
way
even
they did
talk
that-
about that.
Yeah, I mean the movie is rated R, and it
Lives up
it
to it.
it takes advantage of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got demons being cut in half.
Mhm.
You got people being thrown into walls. that are actually
Atlanteans being
blood.
cut in half.
Atlanteans being cut in half.
With the
and
blood in the water.
Yeah, blood
That
in
shit
the
was
water.
cool.
I mean,
And-
the tone was set with the museum heist or whatever when they shot the guy in the street and there was just blood all over the road.
over.
Yeah. I was
And
like,
they're shooting people, and there's like blood mist coming out of it. It's like, oh yeah.
yeah.
Some
is
people
good.
hit the walls and the head blood. It's like their head exploded
Yeah.
on the wall.
It's like superhero movies don't need to be rated R, but it definitely helps.
It
when
makes
they're
it
rated
fun.
R.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I like them rated R a lot.
yeah,
more.
Logan, Deadpool, keep it up. I like
Yeah.
this a
Oh,
lot.
it's fantastic.
And
it's fantastic.
even
It's
in
more
the-
realistic.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman goes and cuts someone. They're not going to be like, oh, I'd like fall over.
Yeah.
They're going to be cut in half, which is what happens
Yep.
in this movie, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Superman's supposed to be the strongest person ever. He hits someone, they land on the ground and stand up. That wouldn't happen.
No.
Okay, that's just not how it works.
The fact that there were some people that were upset that this was rated R, I can't understand that. at
Yeah.
all.
Well, my kids can't watch it. They have a whole other
Right.
movie to watch.
They have
They're so
much.
dumb as kids that they don't know that they're watching a shitty movie
Yeah.
when they're watching the Justice League. You know,
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
I mean, we liked League of Extraordinary Gentlemen when
I
we were
mean,
younger.
Bruce,
And
what's
that
up?
movie is straight hot garbage.
That
Yeah.
movie got fucking Sean Connery to quit acting.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, one of my favorite movies all time is Van Helsing. You go back and watch Van Helsing. Yeah, that one is some rough moments. Now,
You watched Van Helsing more than anyone ever.
Jack, you went
I
through
could quote it.
multiple copies because you watched it so much you ruined them.
I think I've had 5 copies of that movie in my life.
Yeah, it's
But it
it's
was
pretty-
such a
it's
right up Jack's
upsetting.
alley.
yeah.
It's the thing. I think
But that's
what-
the thing. Kids don't know. So you know what? Make
gotta have
it
fun.
just make it rated R. And you know what? The teenagers are still gonna find a way to see it.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
did when rated R movies came out.
Yeah.
That we wanted to see. We found a
Yeah.
way to see it.
And if you're trying to protect the teenager's going to make fun of you if it's campy. At this point, 5-year-olds play Call of Duty now. Nobody gives a fuck, okay?
Yeah, everyone's
fi-
pretty desensitized.
5-year-olds.
They do.
There probably is some 5-year-olds.
There's one
playing Call of
kid
Duty.
that
I was
plays-
actually just like 5 is a little young, but I'm like, you know what? There's probably at least a few.
Yeah, there's one kid in particular who's like super famous on Twitch. And he plays with his dad. He plays Warzone, and like this kid fucks people up. And he's 5. He's like a toddler. Like, yeah, I don't want to do a toddler impression because I'm embarrassed myself. But just like,
Oh, yeah, don't you want to do a toddler voice?
yeah, he's like, hey, reload. You know, I'm like, oh my god, this child's gonna be soldier.
He's
But
all
not a good one.
communicating and everything.
Not a good one.
Not a good one. He's only used to the virtual combat, which who knows? Maybe that's the future. Maybe we settle disputes.
But yeah,
by,
kids are going to see worse stuff than what was in this movie.
exactly. And that's-
Anyway.
On YouTube.
And it's not like this movie is going for a specific feel, and you need to have the violence that lives up to the feel,
Right.
which they did, and that's fantastic.
yeah, it's like the real deal. Like blood and swearing though really isn't that big of a deal anymore. I don't
No.
think. I don't
No.
think people care that much.
It's almost more distracting when, especially the blood, isn't there.
Right.
Like when you see it, it's like no, that's not what would happen to another human being.
Right.
Well, I mean, that was the whole thing that I got into an argument with that teacher at film school, and ultimately why I left was because I write this script, right? and everybody swears like normal people fucking swear.
Mhm.
You know, just how we talk.
Yep.
And he's just like, well, I don't want any swearing in these movies. You know, you guys, swearing for the sake of swearing isn't going to make this funny. And I'm like, they're not swearing for the sake of swearing. They're swearing because they're fucking 20-year-olds.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, they talk like 20-year-olds.
How people
You
talk.
know, so to just like, and then I went through and I took out all the curse words. I'm like, this is garbage now.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
fucking weird how that works. And it's like, oh, who cares? If kids are cussing behind their parents' backs
Mhm.
all the time.
Oh yeah.
There's no hiding that.
Mhm.
I was cussing, you know, we were so ecstatic to be like, oh, the parents are bad. Now we can say fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was almost
Way back,
It was
yeah.
like second or third grade, you know?
cock balls.
Yeah.
Like,
Cock
okay,
balls.
relax. Frank. You don't need to celebrate it.
You say whatever you
don't
want.
need to celebrate.
That's classic old school.
Cog balls.
Cock balls. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, it's just like you just do it. So you're not protecting the kids at all.
And my thing is, they're words, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, teach people how to use. Like, think about it at the end of the movie when what does Batman say to Joker? He's like, "You better believe I'll fucking kill
yeah.
you," or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was I got goosebumps here and that. I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go! This is the Batman I want to
And
see."
believe me, I will fucking kill you.
And I think there's a level of emotional impact that comes with swearing. Like, if I say like, "I'm gonna kill you," versus "I'm gonna fucking kill you," there's a big difference in the
Watch
delivery of
that History of Swear Words on Netflix with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, sure.
Because they did the experiment that Mythbusters did, where it's like swearing actually does relieve, you know, it is a catharsis.
Mhm.
Where Mythbusters, it was like hold your hand in a bucket of ice water for as long as you can, and when it starts hurting, start using, you know, fake curse words. You know,
Right.
darn, dang it, heck, all that shit. And then they pull out and then they go and test somebody and they're allowed to cuss.
Mhm.
They could hold it. Nikki Glazer held her arm in the longest for like 90 seconds, being able to swear. And the person like had like the shortest time was like 30 seconds because they couldn't swear.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it is a catharsis. It's a release and it's emphasis.
Mhm.
You know, it's not just if that's the whole Bill Cosby thing. Where it's like, you know, he's telling Eddie Murphy not to swear and say all this dirty language and stuff. And it's like, well, one, he was a monster. But
Yeah.
two,
Where do you get your energy out, bro? Yeah.
yeah, it's a catharsis.
It's ridiculous. And it's just kind of controlling how people, you know, receive the experience. That's what are you doing? You know, let people get what they want out of it. Make it as powerful as you possibly
Right.
can. What do you have to lose? You know, that was
Yeah.
what's nice about this being released on HBO. You have nothing to lose if you swear or
Mhm.
do blood because that's what they do.
Jim Gaffigan said it, and he's a clean comic for the
Mhm.
most part. He'll swear when it serves a purpose in the joke, for
Right.
sure. But he's a clean comic for the most part, and people are like, "Wow, how do you do it so clean?" It's like that's just how I talk.
Mhm.
But and I don't go after anybody for swearing. Like it's kind of ridiculous to just be like oh, this guy's leaning too much on the F word. I dare anybody to go up on stage and say "fuck" over and over and over again and make that funny.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like there is swearing to swear, but people that swear to swear are literally going, "I'm a fucking crazy fucking guy who's fucking shitty at fucking shit." You know what I mean? It's like, well, okay, that's a little
They,
much,
they can
but-
make the whole sentence with the word "fuck." Fuck the fucking fuckers. You know?
exactly.
I mean, Reservoir Dogs is probably that's got some of the like. That's just one of the straight up best movies
I
ever.
was gonna say,
Ever, yeah.
Even
And
then, it's
almost every other
iconic.
word is like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, The Departed,
Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Oh, Wolf of Wall Street.
I take back what I said.
Yeah.
Say fuck as much as you want. It really doesn't matter. You know, the only people that are gonna get mad at you are the super like uppity parents who don't want their kids to hear it. You know,
The tightest buttholes with
Mhm.
sticks in them.
Winston!
Yeah, Winston.
it happened.
It's been a while since he cut one. It's been a while.
It's a big one too.
Oh man, that was one of the things I was gonna say.
What'd you think of Dark Side?
Loved him.
Yeah, I think
Honestly.
Great. He was cool.
I'm so excited to see.
We're gonna
kind
see a little bit of his
becomes.
laser, which I'm happy about.
Omega
'Cause that's the
beams.
coolest thing
Yeah.
about Darkseid. When he shoots that thing, it's just like going like.
Yep.
Oh, and the fight. I mean, the big one. The
Oh.
big. And at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, with all the gods, the Greek gods. You got Poseidon and
Oh.
Zeus and Ares,
Yep.
which hilarious that they got David Thewlis or Thulis, however you want to fucking say his name.
Right.
Professor Lupin from Harry Potter.
I love how like the moral of that is they stopped Darkseid because they pretty much got everybody on the planet to come fight him. And then the same threat happens again in modern day, and they're like, get 6 people to do it.
6 people.
6 people do it.
6 people will stop an army. They typically do.
Well, then again, it wasn't really an army. It was more
Yeah, it was more-
Steppenwolf trying to get everything together.
True.
And these guys are like, well, I guess we got nothing to lose. If Steppenwolf succeeds, I mean, that's great. But
Yeah, they're like, I mean, kudos to him. We're going to take over and not give him any credit. You could totally tell they wouldn't give him any credit if he had done
At
it.
all. I'd just be like, what do you want, a fucking cookie?
Yeah.
You did your job.
I just
you got 3 boxes together. Congratulations.
yeah, I mean,
You beat humans.
took you long enough. And then there's the whole anti-life thing going on.
Yeah, the
Anti-life
anti-life
equation.
equation. I've heard about it so much. It's all Darkseid wants, and I don't know what exactly it does. Let me look it up.
Anti-life.
Because I know that they have a comic run right now called Deceased, which is basically like Marvel Zombies for DC, but it's like Darkseid applies the anti-life equation.
Oh, how interesting.
Let's see. It is
Interesting.
anti-life equation.
And I love these movies too. Like even just thinking the Flash, you know, reversing time. I mean, that's his power in the comic, and he can do it. It's just cool to like see it visualized on screen. There's something
Yeah.
to it. And
They got to fix his run.
yes, they do. Yes, they this.
We
Yeah,
even
that
talked about
fucking-
that. The speed skater, just like where at the end, we're just like as he's doing it, we're all running.
How is he running? Like towards the end, was he like this for a
Yeah,
second?
well, for
yeah,
a
he did-
second,
he
he
did
was
the
just
Naruto
feeling the
run.
wind, and he was the Naruto run.
I was like, would you rather it be the speed skate or the Naruto run?
You
if you
only
had
get
to
one.
choose one.
Ooh,
It's very tough.
yeah.
Naruto.
You would rather
Because
than
it
Yeah.
looks like he's running at least. Because this shit, it's like he's throwing his hands forward as if that's what's propelling him forward, not his feet. Like his feet are behind him, like a lot.
He's
Yeah.
constantly just like
He's like
stumbling.
falling into the fucking run.
Flash actually has terrible balance, terrible core stability.
Yeah, they had some really good Flash scenes in them.
Yeah, I just never thought I would like Flash and Cyborg this much. You know,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
like,
I like
They're
Flash. a lot.
actually, characters in this movie,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that definitely helps.
they
and
truly matter.
Give them a treatment.
Right. Well, and that's what I was going to say too with Steppenwolf. I mean, like, he's an emotional character. He's like
Yeah.
kind of tragic. You don't feel bad for him, but you're like, oh, this guy sucks.
You
Like,
have an empathy at least.
exactly. You
He-
care
he's
about his success,
Not
as
just
well.
some brain dead dummy just showing up. I want these boxes.
Yep. I gotta kill people. Oh, I've seen you before. Not really, but I've seen people like you. You know, just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And then, I guess one thing I want to talk about, another character that got a ton of time was Alfred,
Oh yes, of course.
the greatest engineer that's ever been.
Yeah,
true
Alfred
genius
was
of
a
this movie.
superhero.
Yeah, you know all the stuff you've been saying about Batman being the smart one of the Justice League. No, that was Alfred. The
It's
whole
Alfred.
time.
Alfred is a straight up genius.
He
in
invented
this.
laser-proof gauntlets.
Yeah. He knows how to harness alien
They-
tech easy.
I mean, they built that Learjet that they were flying in that basement.
Yeah.
That's taken the biggest, most successful aerospace companies trillions of dollars to design things like that.
And real hardcore aeronautic engineers.
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
and Alfred.
Alfred's just a guy, and he's like, I can't get it to fly software. Like, what? Alfred.
He does it
like,
between teaching Wonder Woman how to make tea. You know.
Yeah, and
That's-
it's oh my gosh, he was phenomenally smart. Which I like a really smart, really I like that Alfred. That's
Yeah.
that's how he is.
Well,
in Batman
I mean,
Returns.
they kind of established that he was a little bit of a badass in the Batman vs Superman, by showing him chopping wood, and it's just like, oh,
Right.
he's a pretty spry guy for his age.
yeah.
Jeremy Irons.
I mean,
I
you're gonna get Jeremy Irons.
he's a good Alfred. I like him.
yeah. I like him a
Definitely.
lot.
So I have the anti-life equation here, and it is an actual fucking equation.
I was literally
It's
about to
just
make a
with
joke about
concepts.
that.
Yeah, it's loneliness divided by alienation divided by fear. It's really long, but it's all this shit. And
Sounds like my
basically,
life.
it says by speaking the equation, Darkseid can insert the full formula into people's minds, giving them the mathematical certainty that life, hope, and freedom are all pointless.
Yeah.
So it's basically a spoken weapon.
Okay. Yeah, that's always an interesting one. Because I think other villains have done things similar to that, where like take freedom away and
Yeah, and I mean, page
So he'll
one.
basically just broadcast this into people's minds and then make them give up.
Yeah, and so he
Okay.
controls them.
So it's
that way.
easier to take over worlds, which is what he wants to do.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, why does Darkseid want to take over worlds?
Well, Darkseid is a god from a different dimension.
I was going to say.
So he's part of the new gods. You know, Jack Kirby wrote them, and then he came back to Marvel and made the Eternals. So it's basically the same story.
I see.
But from page one that you see Darkseid, because I only read the first issue. The first time that you see Darkseid, he's already talked about the anti-life equation. He needs the anti-life equation. But basically, there's the new gods led by Orion, and then the dark ones are led by Darkseid on Apocalypse. And so they're like at a clash and everything in the universe. But Darkseid, he lives in another dimension, and this is just like an avatar he sends to our dimension. And he dies a lot, and he just makes another one.
So do you think
Interesting.
at the end when the portal opens and you see him, that's actually his dimension?
No, that's Apocalypse. That's his little avatar. He's like a formless thing. He honestly looked like one of those runes that Wanda cast at the end of WandaVision.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just kind of this like ethereal thing.
His presence.
Yeah, so he can't die,
Mm.
but they really give him a hard time, and he just sort of gives up after he gets defeated. He's just like, I'm not going to fucking deal with that right now. I'm going to set my sights on something else.
I'll come back to this. Yeah.
But yeah, he his motivation is that he is just the dark force, and he wants to consume everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In our
Interesting.
dimension.
Okay, well there you go.
If I could do it, I would.
If I could just consume everything, I'd just
Gotta
But-
find that equation.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And it'll be interesting to see if he gets the anti-life equation because it's on Earth. I didn't know that, so that is interesting.
So I guess
It's all
overall,
very exciting.
I guess overall, what do you guys rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's tough because, like, right now I enjoyed it so much I want to say a 10. But I know that's not like 100%.
Jack 10.
I know.
I throw 10s out like candy.
I really do.
I do too on IMDb, to be honest.
Do you really?
I like to stack up their numbers. If I like a movie, I want people to like it.
And
you
if
know?
a movie is doing too well, I try to give it a like The Dark Knight. It
Yeah.
should not be up on number 4 of the best movies of all time. So I
Yeah.
give it a 1, even though I love that
It
fucking
shouldn't be
movie.
number 4. Really, I don't know about that.
I mean, oh my
Of
gosh.
all time,
Of all time,
Of
Dark Knight
all
is
time.
pretty. Dude, Dark Knight's pretty dang
that
fantastic.
is one movie that has never lost its
Oh yeah.
flavor, I
Yeah.
suppose. You've never gotten tired of it.
Yeah,
I
Anytime it's
have,
on, you will sit down and watch The Dark Knight.
Hang on.
I guess if I could give it, honestly, what I would give it is an 8.5 for sure. I think it exceeds, and I think IMDb has it as that
That's an
exactly.
8.5 right now.
I think that's perfect because obviously there's just a lot of baggage to this movie, to be fully honest, just with it having already been released and all this different stuff. The way they righted the ship was so well done. And like I came down, I'm like, what if we love this movie at the end? Of course we were gonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the whole thing was our expectations were like the bar is set at Batman versus Superman. It has to be that good or better.
right.
It's definitely better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, significantly. And so, 8.5, just because, there's some moments. I mean, a 4-hour movie, you might have some hanging ends or some moments. Honestly, I enjoyed every moment of the movie, though.
Yeah,
I'm hard
it was
pressed
great.
to think of a time where I was like, what's going
And
on?
I definitely
here?
I want to watch it again.
Mhm.
Which I mean, I'm personally I'll give it an 8.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's right up. I'm looking at what I've given 8s before, like Sicario, like the second Sicario movie,
Sure.
Brawl in Cell Block 99. Give Batman Ninja an 8.
Mhm.
Only the Brave with Josh Brolin. Quiet Place, Alien Covenant.
Mhm.
Gave those all 8. So I think it's right up there with those.
I would
with
agree.
those
Very
movies.
fitting,
It's
Because
8.
I gave Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman a 7. Man of Steel like a 7.5. So this I would put like 8.5 for sure.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
was just like a full star better than both of those
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pros. I love the characters again, which is great because I didn't know if I would. 2, I really am excited for where they're going to go with this. And
2, I'm excited. I
Yeah.
was excited during that
Just in
movie.
general.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
were
it
like
was-
actually having a good time.
yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
And-
that's the best part.
And
for
3,
me.
I would happily rewatch this movie. I mean,
100%.
boom,
Yeah,
boom,
I
boom.
mean, I'll probably like start working through it
Mhm.
again, like this week maybe.
for
And
sure.
it-
Watch
that
one
was
part at
so
a
nice
time.
that they broke it up into parts because it's like a nice place to stop.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And I mean, you really look. I mean, the 4 hours, 6 parts. So each part's what, like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
a little more, give or take per
Mhm.
part. Yeah, easy.
Yep. Really want to watch it with subtitles too. A lot of grumbling. A lot of grumbling.
That we had the speaker turned up so high, and it still was like, "What are you saying, Bruce?"
Yeah, it was Bruce and then Aquaman. When they were talking, he was like,
Yeah, would you say they tried to out gristle each other?
yeah, they tried to out gristle each other. Because, yeah, they'd just be talking, one of them would be like, and the other one would be like, and then,
It's just Neanderthals.
yeah. So, yeah, I definitely want, when I rewatch it, it's going to be with subtitles.
For sure.
Right.
Just so that I don't miss any of the dialogue or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
we getting together watching a 4-hour movie, we couldn't help but chat a couple times throughout.
No.
I'm sure we're gonna pick up a couple lines that
For
were
sure.
really cool and really interesting. So yeah, definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah, and I really want to go back and watch Batman versus Superman now.
Yeah, I want to watch
Ultimate
all
Edition.
of them. Yeah.
Well, that's the
10,000%.
only one that I can watch because I don't think they even have the regular edition on HBO.
Probably
and
not.
I lost the disc of the regular edition in mine, so I can only watch the Ultimate Edition.
How do you lose a
Because we
disc?
had 2 copies floating around Lakewood, and I thought the disc that I found was yours. So I gave it to either you or Joey. I said, "Hey, Joey, take this to Jack." And then I never saw it again. And I never realized it was missing from my case because Joey was watching it.
Sure,
you
sure.
know?
Hey, you got the better version. That's all that matters, you know.
I got the longer version.
Was that, how much longer is this? Like 40?
I think so. Let me see. Because
This isn't the original like 2.5.
Yeah, this one might be 3:12, 3 hours, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
this one,
Zack
so the
Snyder's the one,
extended
Peter
edition
Jackson.
of Batman versus Superman is 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Pretty
And I
close.
think the regular runtime was like 240.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn. That's much longer than I remember it being, but awesome.
2 hours and 31 minutes. So yeah, it added an
Okay.
extra half hour.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Damn. Yeah. Well, now we're back on track.
Yeah.
That's all that
And I
matters.
enjoyed it. And just let Zack Snyder make his fucking movies. Because
Yeah.
if you watch the theatrical version of Watchmen, it sucks. It
Yeah.
honestly sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
know.
need to check that out. Do they have the extended version on HBO Max?
I'll check right now because I found out that they had the extended versions of Alien and Aliens on there. It's just in the special features.
Is
under
it? Do they add anything to those?
Yeah. So in Aliens, they had the entire scene where they set up these automated turrets to mow down a bunch of aliens. The stuff they added at the beginning didn't have to be there, but there was stuff at the end and during the actual fight stuff that you're just like, okay. And then Ridley's version, his director's cut version, it was just kind of the stuff they added helped a little bit with like atmosphere, but as far as pacing, it fucks up the movie a little bit, you know? So I like the theatrical version of Alien, the extended version of Aliens, if we're going to do that.
Okay,
Makes sense.
But
that's an interesting cinematic universe they're putting together.
yeah.
Yeah, the Ridley Scott like chaos, like Prometheus, Alien Covenant.
Absolutely
It's like,
has
woo, well,
to
where is
have-
this going? It's like it's just a
has to have
roller coaster.
androids. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think
androids and
anybody-
everything. I started that Raised by Wolves,
Oh,
and I'm
geez.
just like, he just has the biggest heart on for androids.
He really does. And I told you who he might be an android.
I think,
Yeah.
I think it's entirely
She
possible.
likes him.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I think Raised by Wolves might tie in with Alien somehow
I could see
at
that.
some point.
I think
'cause the androids, just the way the androids are.
I think at the beginning
Who
it
would've-
said something like Wayland.
Who would have ever seen
Might
this,
have.
all this coming when the first Alien came out?
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott saw it coming. He knew exactly.
Ridley Scott knew. He was like, I am going to let me pump out the weirdest movies about philosophy and life and where it comes from.
It's just
But
so.
also wrapping it within this like 70s horror classic.
That's the thing. It's like
And it's
what makes Alien great is the movie Alien. Like the movie with the characters and the situation are great. And then he was like, you know what's really interesting about this? The mythology of it all.
Well, that was the thing that because I watched the Alien Covenant commentary just to pick his brain. He literally says straight up at the beginning of it, he's like, they get a distress signal, they go down to check it out on the planet. It's the same plot as the first Alien. He just literally says it's the same plot as the
Same
first
plot.
Alien.
I didn't get creative with this at all.
But the thing is, he goes, with the creature of Alien, it's so like fantastic creature, and all the following filmmakers, sure, they made their own thing, but none of them stopped to ask, where did they come from? And I'm like, nobody stopped to ask that question, really? It was just like, they come from eggs, and we don't care
Come
that they
from
were on a
eggs.
ship
Yeah.
or anything, who drove the ship, we don't care.
He makes it sound like a realization. He's like, what I realized is nobody was asking about this. And we're like, yeah.
Why would we?
Dude, I'm a fan of Prometheus, and I'm a
I am
fan of
too.
Alien Covenant. I like
yeah.
those movies a lot. I think they're
Just
just
the
they're
direction
just kind of like
that it's
what,
going with it.
what's going on here?
I'm excited. He's got
Yeah.
a third one, right?
Yep, they finally greenlit a third one
I
now that
thought
Fox is over at
He
Disney.
wants to do like 6 more.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Jeez.
think he should just have this one dovetail with Alien, explain that the engineer ship has the eggs on it, crash lands, and that's it. You know?
I think they should keep going until the wheels fall off.
Oh. Well, then where will my Alien?
He almost let the wheels fall off with like Alien, like 3 and like Alien Resurrection. Brought it right on back, son.
It's
That's
so
true.
weird. Because
And I
keep
mean,
pumping them out.
I've been working real hard on making a AVP movie that's actually good. So if it can fit in the canon and Ridley Scott doesn't fuck this pig up too much, I'll be fine with it.
I just don't
It's
get
just
it.
I've been putting a lot of work into this thing.
like so many actors and directors and writers are like, I don't want to get like, caught in a creative loop. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Ridley
really.
Scott is like, I want to only do alien stuff forever.
Aliens,
and
androids. That's it.
That's all I'm interested
Which
in.
that's kind of the thing that makes me think about it is like he picked bringing back the Alien franchise over doing the Blade Runner sequel. Now that says something.
That is true. That is true.
Because I mean that Blade Runner sequel was great, but I mean I was like kind of appalled that with so much of it being that's like Ridley Scott's magnum opus film, he didn't want to do the sequel. He just produced it.
Yeah, it's like,
He's like, but I'll fuck around in Alien.
I can control everything in this world.
Pretty much. And then Predator, I saw that it's given to the guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it's going to be in the Civil War. That'd be dope. That'd be kind of cool.
It's very, very interesting take.
Because then that would probably mean that the Predator's tech is not as good because
Yeah.
they're hunting people with shit weapons. So it's like they didn't have to. It's a
Yeah.
cool concept. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm into it.
Outside the box thinking, right?
Yeah. Not enough Civil War sci-fi movies being released.
That's a good point.
I mean, even westerns. All we got was cowboys and aliens.
Mhm.
Thanks,
You
John
got,
Favreau.
I mean, you got like original War of the Worlds was supposed to be Western.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, let's not forget about
But
Abraham
let's
Lincoln
not.
Vampire Slayer.
Let's not do that because that's a far inferior movie to Tom Cruise War of the Worlds.
War of the
DC.
Worlds, yeah.
Classic. God, that's a good movie.
Yeah, I watched that movie so much I ruined the disc.
Dude, it's just a good movie. That movie still holds up today.
And it flows really well. Like the pacing's very well done.
Totally.
Spielberg nailed it with that movie.
Yeah. Classic story, great
Classic.
director, great acting. It's all going to
Yeah.
come together, you know?
Just
Got a
let the
bunch of
directors direct.
Super, just a bunch of massholes getting vaporized.
Yeah.
Like, get out of the truck. It's like, it's a van.
Did you check the solenoid?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, does everyone in this neighborhood know everything about cars? It's
Yeah.
just- yeah. That is,
Also, him telling it to the mechanic.
Right.
Hey, did you check the solenoid?
oh, thanks, Ray.
Oh, thanks for doing my job for me. What would I do without you, Ray?
Oh, yeah, no.
You know.
Uh,
Oh man. So Justice League, yeah, solid 8.
8.
We enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed it quite a bit. And god damn it, I think this is gonna get him the sequel.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna get the whole fucking franchise back on track.
Mm-hmm.
It has to, honestly,
to.
because it was good. And honestly, that was the thing. Warner Brothers did spend almost $100 million allowing him to make this.
Yeah.
They're betting on it too.
Oh, yeah.
They're
big
like,
time.
Yeah.
this better right the ship because we
Well, I
have
mean-
no idea what to do with all these characters.
I mean, really, it might be they made this because of COVID, because they had all these, resources they couldn't, necessarily shoot as much.
Right.
It was a lot more expensive to do so. And they're like,
And you're
"Look at
gonna
all
have
this other
editors
stuff."
edit.
So this might be just the perfect storm that gets everything back on track.
Yeah,
and
I
it
love
was, this was a big win.
Yeah.
Real
It's a
big,
big win for, fandom.
Yeah.
Not letting this, because it would have been a shame never have to have seen this.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Because it was
Absolutely.
truly a pleasure to watch,
Mhm.
and just a completely different It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And hey, to Warner Bros., you couldn't be talking to three guys who have made more fun of your DC cinematic universe. And we fucking love this. So don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got good graces.
We're into this.
We like it.
We like it a lot. We're going to hype it.
Yep.
Yep.
So, anyway, I think that's pretty good. I think we covered all our bases.
Hey,
Yep.
Thanks for coming on the show, Carl. It was a
yeah,
pleasure.
you're welcome. Yeah,
Anytime.
thanks for having me.
Welcome
Always
anytime.
wonderful. To the new studio.
Like, rate, subscribe, share. Follow us at DMTPcast on Instagram. Email us at dmtpcast@gmail.com. Silverback Sasquatch 1162. Do you want to hype your
Yeah, Karl with a K.
underscore separating it?
Yeah.
I was
He's lifted,
figure it
and
out.
it's
You
pretty
figure it out.
fucking heavy weight, guys.
Mhm.
And then I'm Sammy B underscore DMT.
Yeah.
So
Don't forget
other-
to check out bestworstcantina.com, our new home for
Thank
the
you.
DMT
Thank
podcast.
you for continuing to be on that.
I got
Jack.
you. I got you.
Keep forgetting.
And also, you know, we're going to have some merchandise on there sometime soon. But until then, check out the dope ass Best Worst Cantina merchandise on there, and listen to the podcast Unemployed Commentators. Anything else about Best Worst that I'm forgetting?
No.
Best
not
Worst
really.
Cantina.
Best Worst Cantina.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love Gary.
That's right.
Otherwise, take it sleazy, Mayor McCheesy.
What's happening?
Love you guys.
Uniform.
It's all very exciting.
Uniform.
It's all very exciting.
Give me a break!